Good evening, everybody. I'd like to get a motion to call our Newbury Recreation Committee meeting at 6:01 p.m.
Motion to call the meeting?
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Members that are present:
Celine Muldowney.
Mike Volpone,
David Broll.
Mark Sant?
Council on Aging designee Cindy Courier.
both David Dempsey and Lucian are are not available tonight for excused absences. So we have our 4 members, so we have quorum tonight. Reading the previous meeting's minutes. Did you get those out or did I miss it?
I got him out 3 days.
Really early.
Okay, that was the one that I didn't have any issues. Anybody else?
No.
I make a motion we accept the minutes as written.
Second?
Yep.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah.
Opposed? Minutes are accepted. Correspondence? Do you have, well, I don't know if you have the bills and claims, do you have anything or not?
Other than,
The one from Vermont Rec?
yeah, well, I don't know if I mentioned this at the last meeting or not, because I forget when I did the
No.
bill. We had 2 bills from Townsend Oil, so I paid those at the beginning of March. And then, at the end of March, I paid the balance of the, basketball court,
Okay.
and that's it so far.
I did get a note from a neighbor, Bernie, lives over on Birch Lane, asking if the courts can be used for pickleball, and if not, what accommodations can we make for those in town who want to play pickleball. He currently goes to a neighboring, actually it's 2 towns over, he doesn't want to disclose where, because pickleball courts are hard to come by.
That is something I would like to, we were originally talking about trying to get done with the court. It was gonna be additional cost, so I'm gonna find out what it's gonna
Yeah,
be.
it's the same surface.
Yeah,
So-
so it shouldn't be a problem, so.
Can people use the, I guess the question is, if they brought the equipment, can they use the court?
The problem's gonna be is the lines.
There's places where you can buy lines, and they're not permanent, you just fold them up and you move them. Or
They're gonna have to reserve the court like anybody else is using, but I have no problem at all. I'd love to get involved in it myself,
Okay.
once able. This is the week the field house and everything is open. Would someone be able to reach out to, now, the field, because now we're gonna be opening the field house for the first time in 2 years, full time. It'll be 2 to 8 and 8 to 8 on the weekends.
Just the bathroom, correct?
Just the bathroom. With that and the gates.
Yeah.
We have to notify the police and stuff. Actually, I'll reach out to Tracy.
I think the police might be doing it, but I'm not sure.
I wasn't sure.
And
So
they
you-
were open, when I went by on Sunday, they were open to the.
I know,
The one gate to the basketball court.
yeah, I know Rush, their weekend started this past. Youth soccer is this coming weekend. I can't remember if lacrosse was this past or this coming, so, I'll email Tracy just to make sure to see if we can confirm that the police will open the gates from 8 to 8 on those time frames, as well as, if we gotta find some way to get the, field house open for the same time frames.
I thought DPW was gonna supply, this was like 2-3 months ago, that they were going to supply us with time blocks.
I think they did.
If they have, I haven't seen it yet. If someone else, I mean, do you want to touch base with Jim?
I will.
All right, thank you.
I know there's a new,
Code,
yeah, so
Do
I
we-
think it's the updated one.
and we're gonna have, unless they use the same code, we're gonna get the new code.
It's a little different,
Okay, so you
How-
already
the
seen.
previous one.
So, when do you go in?
So you know.
I went there this morning, I go every Monday morning and every Wednesday.
What time?
I'm usually at like 7:45 or so.
Yeah, I think that, I thought we were talking 9 to something, what was it?
On the weekends, it was 8 to 8, well, I mean, during the weekdays, it was 2 to 8, because,
Yeah, same.
most of the, unless we have it, we certainly, I mean, if you got your access, I'm not worried about it for the Council of Aging.
What do you got?
Good.
Do that.
Let the record show that Chair Select Person, Greco has arrived. Sorry,
Thank
Rich,
you.
I'm having tongue tied tonight.
That's okay.
Celine, you got the emails on the MyRec website?
Yes, so I got the onboarding document filled out and submitted, and now I have to schedule a 1-hour meeting with them. Before I scheduled it, I didn't know if anybody else was interested in being on the meeting with me or not. And is IT gonna be on that
They
meeting?
should be.
Can we, or does that constitute a meeting? If
No,
we had
two
one-
people can do it.
It's not a meeting, it's a training.
Okay.
Um,
Is anybody interested in doing it, to learn?
I think Marcus.
Do I need to check with him?
Poor Mark. Sign him right up.
Wow.
Yeah, I would ask,
Earlier.
I would figure out who from the committee is gonna be on the call, reach out to Matt, copy the town administrator, and ask, give him your availability, and ask him to schedule. Right, Cindy, that's probably a good way to handle it, right?
Mark, are you able to help out with that or not? I'm just asking, because I know David's on site.
I don't even know if you need two people.
When is it? What time? I guess that's the
I
other
have to
question.
schedule it, so
Okay.
right now, we've got, this week is,
Yeah.
the next 2 weeks for me are just like
Yeah, same here.
swamped, but we need to get it going.
He's open, just if you,
You know,
if your
you
schedule
can't do
works, but-
Friday, right? Because he doesn't work Fridays.
Matt doesn't know.
No, but he might come in, but he's here late on Tuesday nights, if that'll help, until 7.
Yeah, I can probably do later nights.
Yeah, if you wanna set up a Tuesday night, if that works, and
Does that work for you?
let's say, I was gonna say the 19th is the
It's
next,
not available,
at all, during those nights?
not nights.
Okay.
Oh, the guy from the committee.
The rec,
Oh,
Yeah,
my rec's not available at nights? Okay.
I mean, if you ask him to come in on a Friday, I think he would. It's not gonna be, how long is the meeting, an hour? You can all even do it all remotely.
Yeah.
it's all remote. What, the meeting?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
all meet via Zoom.
yeah.
If you need a second person, if it can be done remote, I can do it then during the day.
And you know what?
I just need Tuesdays and Thursdays are the worst days for me. Wednesdays and Fridays are better. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays are better.
Well, I'll have to see if you can come in Friday.
Okay,
Let me just hit reply all to that email.
okay.
Is Matt copied on that email?
Technology?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
What are the hours again? 9 to 8 to
8 to 2, 2 to 8, 8 to 8.
2 to 8 and 8 to 8.
Yeah, Monday to Fridays, 2 to 8, and weekends is 8 to 8. Triton Youth Lacrosse, I received an email from John Vogel. They wanted to know if they could get access to put goals either in a job box or something in the garage underneath the field house, so they could move the goals in and out easily.
Throughout the season or at
Yeah.
the end of the season?
They said through the season.
Through the season.
Huh?
Have you done that before?
No.
No. So I don't know if it's a concern or whatever, but they're asking, and I just need to get
I'd
back
be
to them.
reluctant to have people go in and out of that because DPW leaves their equipment there.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. If they were to able to provide a box or something that they could put them in on the side of the building, because I don't know what a job box is, that's how we described
A
it.
job box is just one of the ones that sits in the back of a pickup truck, or it could be a 3x4, one of those metal ones. But yeah, that's fine. Something like that on the side of the building.
Where would they put it?
I would say probably the back side. If they wanted to chain it down, they could chain it.
You don't need to, alright.
I'm not getting into too much detail, I'm just trying to find out.
Yeah, I'd need more detail about that. To move them on and off the field after and before every practice, that's a lot. I think he may be talking about at the end of the season, because those are heavy. And to move them are tough.
So get clarifying questions, and then I
Yeah.
would reach out to James and see if they have a problem with him putting a box out behind him.
Okay.
That would be secure.
Triton Youth Soccer wants to know if they can put, instead of the bags that they're using, because I guess they're getting damaged and stuff, they want to know if they can use a 1-inch thick, 25-pound plate to secure their goals. They can be Jason had said they've used this at other facilities, and they can ride right over it, so it wouldn't impact the mowing.
Wait a minute, 1 inch?
A 1-inch, 25-pound plate just to secure the goals. instead of the bags that they're using right now with sand and stuff that are getting ruined.
Yeah, I don't.
Where else are they being used?
And he just said they've been used other places, he didn't get specifics.
I'd be curious if it was grass, where they've been used.
Yeah, well, the idea is so you can mow over it. My concern is you're gonna have these round discs and they're sitting there all season, they're probably gonna be yellow underneath it.
Right.
That's my only concern.
Well, they, in years past, so that they don't wear the goalie spots unnecessarily, they do try to move the goals. I know lacrosse does regularly, and I thought soccer does it on a less regular basis because they are heavier, just to move it so you're not wearing down the one spot where the goalie is. So they would be moved. If the issue is just a small yellow spot, I'm not concerned. It's the end of the, it will go through summer, it will grow back, fall, we'll get another feeding and seeding in, it will grow back. I'm not concerned about that. I would want to see who else used it and if there was any complaints about it. I don't think there are.
I'll reach back out to Jason via email, copy everybody and James, just so we have an idea. And say, can you give us an idea of, is who else is using it so we can get an idea, and then, but we're a little concerned regarding to the spots, if they can be there. I mean, we're mixed with
I
them.
would be careful copying everybody, or just copy Mark on that one, and then you can report back to the group.
Well, can I make a suggestion that you somebody talk to
James?
James, and if, we vote on it now, so we don't wait.
Do you wanna add that to your list, David?
I'm sorry. About the plates?
Yes,
Yeah.
a 25-pound plate on the
If
soccer
you could
goal.
just
Do we
email
know
or
what size
I'll
it is? I guess that's the other.
It's 1 inch thick,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
so whatever that takes up for the 25 pounds. They just said it's 1 inch thick, but it'd be something they can put on the back so it would prevent it.
On the back of the soccer balls.
Yes, keep them in place. And according to them, they've been able to mow them before. We don't get down to that tight of grass anyway, so we should be more than enough.
I may ask him to call me so
That's
I can just discuss it.
If you can, I appreciate it.
And if we vote on it, just say,
Pending
James
DPW
doesn't have an
approval?
issue with it, we
Yeah.
can go ahead, otherwise we're waiting until
Yeah, next meeting.
next meeting in May, and if we don't have it, it's
I'll bring it
just-
up under new then, so we can discuss it more quick, because I wasn't sure if I were gonna get to it.
So I'll make a motion to allow the plates on the condition that James Serretta, DPW, feels that they would cause any unnecessary problems on the field.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Please do. When you find out, let me know and I'll let Jason know. Shifting to old business, actually I'd like to shift to new business because the big thing we're gonna do in old business is the policy for the field house and the basketball court. But real quick, Mark, do you have any update on the canoe kayak?
Quick update, no. The strategy that, the recommendation was to go forward with seeing how we could do it. It seems to be that we need to allocate money, and if you could ask the town administrator if there's monies to use for the environmental reports that need to be done on this area. I don't know how much it's gonna be, because typically you do a plot plan for it. This would be a 65-acre plot. So if you went by the letter of the law, and we're talking about a very small area, so if there's money in this year's HERD budget to do this kind of work, if we could access it to move forward with this. If not, can we have money, can we request money for FY 23 if there is funds available to move forward with it?
Okay, I'll reach out, I'll copy an email.
Thank you.
So I'll shift now to new business. One of the things that Celine, Alicia, the town administrator, and myself did a call on March 21st to discuss a ARPA fund application that allows us, there was grant money, and I'm actually gonna let Alicia explain a little bit more about it because she has more information. that tells us about, we may have some additional funds that we can use for Central Street to help do various projects and stuff, so timing couldn't be better when you say that.
So part of the town was issued a grant, American Rescue Plan Act is the name of the grant, and it's $2.1 million. The monies are tied to the, originally it was tied to COVID-specific funding. That was part of how we got the Council on Aging out of their space, because they were with unvaccinated students, and moved them into this space down here, that hopefully that will be complete in May. But there has been, and it's because COVID is so evolving, rules around monies and everything that you can use it for has been evolving. They now classified what the town has. Now, $2.1 million is a lot of money for us, but if you look at bigger municipalities, there's tens of millions of dollars. You know, I think the state got $5.2 billion, and so it's a lot of money. And they changed the use of it, and they classify it as revenue replacement monies, so now it can be used for any municipal use. So, so far, off the top of my head, we've allocated almost half, well, a quarter of it to the Council on Aging to get them a new space and allow them to grow their programming. And Cindy, thank you so much, Cindy. The food pantry reached out to the town, asked if we could help with that. They requested $100,000, so we gave them that money to help, you know, for human services. We've sped up purchase of municipal vehicles, like police replacements. The capital planning committee has a schedule that we replace things, so we've kind of accelerated that the next couple of years to get those purchases done. The Shellfish Commissioner needed a new vehicle, the fire department got something, the police department got something. There's the library issue. They had a request for some special, I think it's takeout kiosk, so you can take out the books that way. We provided funding for that. And off the top of my head, that's all I can think of. I know there was a few more things. But one of my strategies that I would like to do, and I think the majority of the select board agrees with me, is to have the monies touch all aspects of our community, and culture and recreation is another one. And I asked the town administrator how we could possibly use some of this ARPA money to build a playground. And the Newbury rec fields, what would be, after speaking to Celine and Mike and Tracy, what would be helpful to the town is if we could work with Chris from Huntress and come up with a plan for that whole parcel of land. You have your kayak thing here, you have your basketball court here, you have your fields here, you have your playground here, you have your parking lot here, you have whatever you want here. Work with him to come up with the whole thing, and hopefully we can use COVID money to pay for the, or not COVID money, I'm sorry, ARPA money. We can use ARPA money to pay for that plan, and I'd like to pick off a playground for the kids. I know the playground has been identified by you guys for a while. I think it's a good use of the monies. But again, it all has to go out to bid. It all has to, you know, all public bid laws.
Yeah.
It's nothing you can circumvent. Conservation Commission, all applies, Wetlands Protection Act, all that stuff applies. But and the kicker with this grant money is it has to be allocated and spent. It has to be all allocated by the end of 2024, and I believe expended to 2026. Or the money goes back to the government and it gets reallocated to another municipality.
Okay.
So.
I have not heard back from Chris. I emailed him right after the call. I have not heard back yet, so I will try again.
Okay.
To see.
So I think what would be helpful is if you could come up with work with him and get that plan, and then we can pick off things one at a time. Like I see finishing the basketball court as an option.
The only thing we have left, but we don't need to pull from that, because the only piece of work that needs to be done is the backside of the fence, which we know we have up to $12,000 left, or 11 and change. I think it's 11.9, I think we
Okay.
have left in the budget to finish that off.
Okay, so I would extend that this year, because it'll go away next, by
I'm
third.
trying, I gotta
Yeah.
reach back out to the fence companies again.
Yeah, so if we could get that completed, I think there was something else you wanted to do. Did you want to make a cover, like on top of the fence itself?
Someone
Oh,
suggested.
Jack.
No, and that's not a bad idea, it was that yellow, plastic covering, so it just keeps people from getting hurt, they were leaning up
Yeah.
against whatever,
So
so.
something like that, we can put in there, and then, once you have a plan, if we could get, you know, it doesn't have to be a massive, playground, but something for the little kids to do while they watch their brothers and sisters play.
Yeah, I was always thinking, again, and I think it was a pipe dream of mine to take and put a walking course along the perimeter of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a question with DPW as far as cutting grass and stuff like that, but if they put it against the perimeter, they wouldn't have to worry about cutting grass, because they'd have that area that they don't have to go up against the stone wall, if it was
Yeah.
all just like crushed stone. And then people, when they're hanging out, they can, you know, especially council on aging and stuff like that, if someone wants to go and walk for a half mile around,
That'd be nice.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be,
Yeah.
you know, and it would be the kind of thing where people, you see them do it at the malls all the time, and it would be a great,
Right.
great thing to have something that starts at the field house, does a big circle, and I think that would be utilized, so, but anyway, it's just a thought.
Mark?
Three things. First, I don't disagree with David, as I sent an email out to a couple of people, might be one. In that walking course, what many towns have done is had a fitness trail to it. So you'd walk
Oh, yeah.
along and you could do something, and it could be as simple as adding small stumps, as they do step-ups and chinning bars, to more complicated ones, which I had sent to the group last year for comment and feedback. The other question is, you're limited, I know our current jurisdiction is the town properties at Kentway and Central Street. I think it would be in the best interest of the town to consider working with a group out, say on Plum Island, to see if there's any recreational needs out there that could
Oh.
be filled.
The bathroom, that was another thing we funded.
Well, what I'm saying in terms of recreational stuff,
Mhm.
because, well, at the far end in another town, there's a small playground and a basketball court. It might be of interest, and I don't know, I haven't fleshed this out, but perhaps even if it's a half a court at Olga Way that the town owns, that we're thinking of Plum Island for some of the improvements for the recreational needs of
Yeah.
our citizens. With the other parcel, large parcel that the town owns on Kent Way, could that be part of the process? And the idea is, if we start clearing this out, we can provide parking, more parking for the library, so when there's a ball game at the Martha Pearson Field, they're not inundating the parking lot at the library, where patrons cannot get into the library because there's no parking because of the ball game. The residents on Lunch Street, people are on their yards and blocking their driveways, and it can become a safety issue with the fire department. So if we were to initiate that, it's not a high budget item, but we can start looking at that as utilizing the space that the town has, which goes into the question Mike had earlier regarding last meeting. You know, if we had an extra field or two down over there, if the fields aren't open, we could have people practicing down there, so the fields up here can rest until they are fully ready. And they use the fields behind.
So I think that's a really good idea and a good plan. I also forgot that the Byfield baseball. and
Yeah, they're doing the field.
Yeah, we're gonna spend money for the ARPA funds to do those fields over for them too, so that's.
Fields
another
are
thing.
field, because the town has the property next to the library where the Martha Pearson is.
The ball field, they're gonna redo the ball field over
Okay, so
with dirt. Yeah, that was part of ARPA funds too, that we're spending. I think that that's a good idea, Mark, but there's not enough money to do all of that, like develop it all right now, but I think if you work with Chris, and come up with
And
a
I sent
plan.
I sent most of your list to him.
Okay.
I kinda kept it into right now to this, cause I wanna find out about the Kent Way, if we'd be able to get into that. But the rest of your ideas that were on the email you sent me, that were sent over to Chris. So I just
So,
wanna find out
I
what's,
think they're all great ideas, and I think they're all achievable. I don't know if we can do them all in one time, but I think, another thought that I had was where the Council on Aging is moving over to Kent Way now, and the library, we had, issued some funding, there was some grant money tied to the library that stipulated for 20 years, we couldn't do anything with that building, it had to remain a library. But now that that's over, 2021, that ended,
It's been 20 years.
yeah, it's been 20 years. So that's ended, so now, like, one thing that I'm thinking of to try to project into the future, where the town owns the land on Kent Way, if the Council on Aging, because we're an aging community, everybody's aging here, if their programming grows, and they grow out of this place where they currently are now, where they're gonna move into, there is a possibility to use some of that property, somehow, and attach to the library somehow, and have, there's a symbiotic relationship there anyways, most of the seniors use the library anyways. That's one option, so I don't wanna like completely develop that whole
It's not a matter of developing, it's a matter of clearing it out so we have
Yeah.
access to it. Put it in.
If it'll help with
gravel-
the parking and alleviate the street, I think it's a good idea.
We talked about it briefly with Tracy, whether James could kind of do that, start doing that on his, you know,
His schedule.
and she said yes, but that's gonna be out, it's out right now, like his schedule's already.
Oh, yeah, no, we know
But
the
she said,
schedule
yeah,
is
that was something
between
that could be
the
done.
paving, the property maintenance going on, winter plowing. There's a small window usually in the fall for about 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how long the paving season can go, that they can get in and start it. But if we don't start it, it never gets completed.
Right,
And understanding the different forms that need to be in place, we just initiate it, we have years to, and you can agree with this, we have years to work on it, but the paperwork is done, the plans are in place, and we can start working on it, and then for an extension if we need to, but it's just opening it up, empty fields where there's no development, it's open field and parking lots.
dirt parking lot you're talking, right?
It could be dirt, it could be gravel,
Oh, gravel,
but
yeah,
you know, nothing permanent in the sense of asphalt or anything.
yeah,
And we can help baseball say, here, have your people park over here, or players and teams park here, so the library can allocate 10 lots that are reserved just for the library on game days.
Yeah, it'd be a great idea.
yeah, it is very good.
And it's our property, it's under our guys anyway, right?
yes.
Okay. And do we,
Yes.
that's all been hashed out as far as, right, with,
Well, I think what'll happen is, starting next year, when your terms are up, I don't know who's gonna re-up, but once we have this plan in place, we might change the charge of the rec committee to be a little more, less
Broad.
focused just on, because you guys picked up when the field house wasn't complete, I mean, there was a lot, that you guys accomplished a lot in what.
Our charge is written for very broad, it's not specific. The specificity comes with the allocation of our line item. And
Okay.
that's where the problem is, and again, if we had a separate line item for staffing, for materials that aren't used for Kent Way or the Central Street property, we would be better off.
Okay,
If we could start allocating, obviously we won't make it to this annual town meeting, or maybe it can, but if we have a line item for $10,000 for equipment and supplies for outside of Kent Way.
yeah, I don't think it's in the budget this year, but I think we should put it in for next year, put something for recreation in there.
Or if it's a line item with $0, it's a line item that we can then go
Yeah.
forward with filling it.
So we did, this might be not the right time to bring it up, but we did talk about how many hours we think we need somebody to like manage the applications and the calendar. And I mean, I don't know, what do people think? I don't think it's more than 40 hours a year.
40 hours,
Just like during the height of the seasons with the applications and emails and all this stuff corresponding back and forth to make sure all the documents are secured and the website's
That's
updated.
10 hours, that's more than 10 hours a season to process 3 or 4 applications is not even a season. I just don't see it being more than 40 hours a year. It's pretty general. I was thinking more of that, I had that.
So that's like six,
Well, I mean,
$600-700.
if it's just that, if it also becomes, processing stuff for the field house proper, you know, like if we start renting that per hour, that would make it a little bit more complicated.
With the funds that are available to us, not our appropriation, would we be able to hire somebody to do a specialty project over a summer period? For example, if we were to work with the Conservation Commission and a conservation agent and hire a couple of students and a administrator, if you will, to do Phragmite work during a part of the summer when the Phragmites, or better yet, when the purple loosestrife, these are both invasive plants that are coming into the property, that we could hire somebody to help eradicate that on that property.
I don't think it's enough. Well, how much money are you looking for?
$8,472.
Yeah, I don't think there's that much money in there right now. But it depends. If you get the field house going, if we get a, first of all, if we get a line item in the budget next year.
Well, I'm not, no, this is the 2.1 million that the town has gotten from.
You should refer to pull from the ARPA.
Oh. If it was one-time funding,
Yeah, one time,
yeah,
We can
that's,
start out
that's a
with-
possibility.
we see if it's feasible, practical, and workable. It would be a joint, I foresee there's something working with the conservation agent and the Conservation Commission to say, hey, we want to do this, let's bring
Alright,
this.
that's something different, that's not
Yeah, that-
recreation related, but yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll take that offline.
Okay.
I'll work with you and Tracy on that, I'll see.
Okay.
But I think that's something that could be done, if it's
Again,
under $10,000.
I haven't reached out to the conservation agent or the conservation
Well,
commission.
before we start asking people, let's find out if we can do it.
Right.
But as far as the rec committee goes, I think that if you could come up, work with Chris and get that plan going.
We already have they sent me the application, we just gotta figure it out, and so the question's gonna be is, if Chris comes back, is there anybody that wants to join him to help get that process kind of pulled together and get an idea?
What, as far as the playground?
The field and all the different ideas
Yeah,
and stuff.
absolutely. I've worked with it before.
You guys can have it.
Okay,
Um,
absolutely.
all right,
So can we go back to the question about, I mean, who's gonna manage this calendar?
that's gonna kind of fall under what we're hopefully doing with the staff.
Right.
Yeah, so-
So how many hours do we think we need? That was Tracy's question. How many hours do we think we need to start by hiring somebody?
I mean, if you did the 40 hours, that would be a start. I'll be honest with you, I'd like to get some of these, every email's going to me. And I can't respond to all of them as much as I'd like to as soon as I can, just because I'm just inundated right now with other things going on, so. I almost wanna, it's like, I feel like everybody has to come to me for an answer, and I'm
Can
like.
we start
no.
with maybe
Well, I mean,
5
do-
hours a season?
Which
You
is,
think
which is
more?
15. I mean, realistically, I was thinking 10. We did 10 for the 3 seasons.
10 hours, okay.
10 hours per season, so it'd be 30 for the year. At what, 15, 16, 17, depending on which dollar amount, minimum wage we wanna fall under.
So if
Like, I'm like
she
$500.
sent an email out to the staff asking if anybody wanted to pick up a little extra money, and it would come out of the Rex,
Right.
budget for now.
We're not hiring anybody new, we
No,
are
somebody
allocating their
here.
funds.
Yeah, and then I think there's a symbiotic relationship coming from the town hall, because they handle them, Lindsay handles the money and all
Yeah.
that stuff, so, I believe she did have somebody respond back saying they were willing to do it, I just have to go back.
I'd almost say
Just
just
that.
apply $500 and let's see how many hours we can get out of that,
Right.
depending what it is.
And then, but what I want from you guys is what exactly you want her to do,
Or him.
or him.
I
Her
I
or
think it's
him.
gonna be
It's
more
gonna be a question,
than 500.
we wanna find out if the person's willing to sit in the training session with us as well.
We can always set up a separate training session.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
let's-
I mean, that's fine.
But
I
I
was just
think that's the two things we want them to do, is maybe call through the emails
Emails.
and, you know,
Well,
figure out.
hopefully, if, one of the things we talked about was setting up an email for, so when people come in, they're gonna email it and it would go into the site. So instead of it coming to one of the four of us, or right now mainly me,
Yep.
it's a question of then who's, if that goes to that person, then they can kind of sit through and find out what's missing. And then just present to us, this is what I've got, and I'm like, okay, great, then we can put it on the agenda and get it done.
So what were you looking for her to do, screen emails,
And manage the applications and calendar.
manage the calendar and applications? Her or him,
Yeah.
okay.
Just making sure, so we get the queries, we get the application, the hours they're looking for, and then just prepare the
And then
numbers.
she can put it in the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
And
I'm
then
not
she-
quite
then she
sure
figure
how
the
this is
hours.
gonna work, I mean, they're gonna come online and they're gonna, I think we said that reservation request was
Yeah.
the way we want it set up for now. So they come in and they make a request to reserve times.
And then we
And
come
then
back and
we go back.
approve.
yeah, we'd approve it at that point. And then they, but by
Okay.
doing that, hopefully that'll attach the hours, the dollars per hour, so we can do it, cause right now I'm literally going back through and pulling
And this is,
everybody's hours and calculating it up to make sure who's got what.
is this for just the soccer fields, or is it for the field house and the
All
basketball
three, but it's
courts?
all gonna be
It
in
will
one
be, we
calendar.
haven't finalized that
Okay.
yet, that's the thing.
For whatever properties that we have responsibility for, land and buildings. Or if we were to, for example, coordinate a trip for the youth to a baseball game, I got tickets, 100 tickets for local kids to go to the Red Sox, that person would help coordinate it.
So we're gonna grow into that.
We are,
Yep, that's what we'd like to.
maybe we won't, because we'll be old and dead by then, but our
And the Red Sox
predecessors
have
will.
moved to.
Our predecessors will.
Okay, anything else on the ARPA?
No, that's it, so,
Next thing on the agenda is the COA use of the field house for the spring season. Told you to get that on the agenda for you.
Yes.
It's just a simple, it's the same continuation of the existing situation?
Yep.
You're not adding additional hours?
Not right now.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept their use, continued use of the field house for the spring season?
What are the days and?
Right now, we use it Mondays and Wednesdays.
Oh.
Mondays are 10:30 to 11:30. Wednesdays are 10 to 11.
do you have a big turnout, Cindy?
Do I what?
Have a big turnout?
Yes, it's growing.
Oh, good.
They really want to stay there, even when we move. They
Is there
really
enough
like that
room
space.
in there? Are you
For
getting
now,
crowded?
but as it grows, I don't know.
You
But it's
could get
perfect
out-
right now.
You
And they
could
love
get
it.
out in the field if it's.
Yeah,
summer.
see.
Well, I do have canopies, so when it's nice out. Last summer, we got rained out so much.
Yeah.
Does it get buggy?
No,
Aqua
it's
therapy?
10 in the morning, so it's,
Yeah.
right?
Right?
Yeah, but one of the classes, they'd like to go for a walk before the class, kind of as a warm-up, so
That's
that
right, yeah, I've been.
trail would be nice.
Yeah, it would be phenomenal.
Or even have just a walking club over there would be
Yeah,
great.
it would be
So,
phenomenal.
Just have them start making a trip.
Right?
I mean,
Where
it's-
So you
Wear
start
it
seeing the
into
wear
the-
path going
Bring
through
your
it.
stick only, go for it.
yeah, it sort of begs for it, just the sort of the big
Yeah.
perimeter. I walked there one time and it gets a little either under or over a half mile, so,
You know, Celine had a good point when we were talking about it, you know, Action Cove in West Newbury.
yeah.
I'd love to see a destination that's used that same way.
Yep.
I think it's a resource that's, you know, not the same way as Action Cove because other stuff, they have baseball, but we have the walking, it'll be, you know, Action Cove with an asterisk.
I'm not disagreeing with it, it's just, there's a reason why many of the baseball fields have a playground to it, because baseball games, times are unpredictable at youth level. It can range from 45 minutes to an hour and a half to almost 2 hours, where most of the sporting event, soccer, lacrosse, even flag football, there's a defined period of time. So you'll see fields like Pipe Stave, there's no playground or other equipment there. Cherry Hill over in Newburyport, that's where they keep open space. So you may want to consider having open space and having equipment some places. The other part to keep in consideration is Action Cove and some of these other places have a tree line that will reduce the summer heat. Again, during this winter we don't have a problem, but during the summer, I don't know if anybody's been up at the fields doing anything in July or June.
It's open, yeah, there's no shade.
There's no shade and it gets blistering hot. So we may want to, I like the idea of a playground, a larger playground in this end of town, which would be great. It's just finding the ideal location that,
Well, I think as you look at the Kent Way, you know, another, maybe the smaller playground goes on Mantor and a larger playground goes over by the, I mean,
something like that, or
Yeah.
if we could find a place up at the Central Street facility that is more shaded, or find a way to keep it shaded and put a bigger one someplace else.
there's a tree.
Yeah,
That might not be, the other thing to worry about is parking, with where the location of the playground is. I know at one point, the playground was gonna be on the opposite side of the parking lot, not near the sledding field. So people would be crossing the playground with the little kids.
Yeah.
And then if you put it down at the far end, on the other side of the septic, you're gonna be walking with the little kids a lot further. So there's a lot of thinking that has already gone
Yeah.
into the location of it, and how it might best be located.
I don't think Chris can help with that.
That's
I'm hoping, yeah, that'd be good. All right, anything else? So we've approved, did we,
I think you need to vote on it.
yeah, so do I, all those in favor of the COA continuing their field season area and dates and times? All those say yes.
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 Okay, sorry. I was-
We seconded it and then we forwarded.
Okay.
Okay,
David,
Done.
you made the motion, I believe.
yes.
Selaine, you seconded, I heard.
Yep. So yes, you can continue.
Thank you.
The last thing I had on the new business was the Blue Cross Blue Shield grant that you had looked at, David.
And they didn't get back to me, so I'm still in the process of that.
Okay.
That may also, that's like an adult playground. And,
With the walking thing?
well, no.
Well, it could be
no,
something
no.
like Mark was talking regarding the
Yeah.
different,
Wasn't that like a
Different
time
stations.
sensitive thing, like they wanted the
There
first?
was-
Yeah, no, they were still open the last thing I talked to. If you,
Well, we looked at this 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's the same one, another, they tried to bring Blue Cross on as a partner. My memory serves me correctly, and it doesn't always, there's a cost match
yeah,
involved.
it's,
It's their design, their material,
Yeah.
which, when I looked at it, to me, it's not gonna attract the kids that we're looking for.
yeah, it's more adult oriented. It's more
Fitness
like,
as opposed to play.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's like I guess the way they present it, it's an outside gym.
Yeah.
So I think that at this point, maybe playground may be more of a necessity.
okay.
Yeah, and then the other part is, as Selaine mentioned a while ago, is the demographics, by the way it was written. I don't believe we are a targeted group, our population. Past recipients, I think, include Burlington, Woburn, forgot who else.
Maybe we're not big enough.
Where did that email come from?
Which one?
The one about that, or when?
Yeah.
Months ago.
When I talked to a town manager who had looked at it for her town, they too were in a similar situation as we are with the population demographics. And the cost match, just, it's not worth, having come up with half the funds, I believe it was, for their product, where we could create our own stuff.
February 11th, I have the email right here.
Something better.
February 10th is when it came in.
So to sort of piggyback on that, we had talked about the walking trail around the field, and like the one in Marblehead, all those exercise things that go along sort of the walk through the woods, those were provided by the Boy Scouts, and the Boy Scouts did it as a project to clean those up, and so that may be something that,
There's a national fitness campaign partner with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts to award $750,000 of grant funding to 15 limited partners. So it sounds like it's like 15,
Can you think of a different
it's
one?
still
or 50 grand.
I don't see that on, I just pulled it up. I remember I looked at it last night, it just,
Yeah.
Southwood's right.
I don't see that in the middle of Central Street. I think it would ruin the beauty.
I think they had different styles, but that is sort of the general flavor of it.
It would be great in a downtown urban setting.
Yes,
Right.
or
It
even
has
New
a lot of
Newburyport
building.
along the waterfront.
I mean, yeah, or, you know, like a high school or something like that. But
So do we wanna proceed with it, or do we wanna just stop where we are now and dedicate time and resources to other places?
my thought, go ahead.
I'm not inclined to take the time, energy to do the research, to do the demographics, to do the statement, to apply for it.
David?
David, would you like to write it?
No, it's not that. I think that if we focus our time and energy, because we'd have to match it. And I think if we focus our time and energy towards a playground, it may be money better spent. As far as who, you know,
I have
as
no
far
problems
as,
with it.
as far as who will use it.
Can we do a playground and a trail?
Yeah,
I think we
you
should
need
try
to,
for both.
you need to come up with the whole plan.
Yeah, yeah.
We know, we know, we
Yeah.
know.
All of it, and
'Cause
then we'll see how much it costs.
I did talk to
Were you thinking
DPW
a path,
about it.
like a pea stone path?
Yeah, or, you know, like the crushed stone paths, the one that you find, that they put down a base level. Nothing goes up underneath
Ultimately,
there.
I wanna see the whole thing developed, the way you guys design it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, get what we can get done with this opera money,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll pick away at it as we can. The DPW can do work, or,
The whole idea behind the trail that was proposed last year was if we did one station a year at $3,000, every year we're adding to it, which keeps the population more engaged. Even going to the extent, I know people don't like this idea, but put it out to people's suggestions. Here are 4 designs we want to, 4 stations we want to add. At the annual town meeting, pick 2. That's what we're going to do. And that way the citizens have a direct involvement in picking this.
So let's start with the path first, and then we can always add.
Yep.
Well,
well,
the
you
path,
can go through Survey Monkey too. And get to everything.
however we want to do it. The idea is giving direct
It's
access
almost
to
like,
the
it's almost like
town.
do the Survey Monkey beforehand, and at the town meeting, which I like the idea, because then you have a captive audience, saying, here are the 4 items we're looking to do this year, choose your top 2, and these are what
That's
we'll
what
go
we're
with.
gonna
And
do.
we have the clickers, so you can.
Yeah, because then you can do that, so I'm saying, it's a good combination right there, so. Okay,
Yeah, maybe the Survey Monkey gets like 8, and then you pare it down to the 4, and then.
However, yeah.
Does
Yeah.
2,
you
Can
want
I
to say
bring up old business? This was kind of Dave Dempsey's thing. What's going on with the signs for the basketball court?
he was the last one working on it, so I don't know if he's done anything with it, I'm gathering he hasn't. So we're gonna have to go back to looking at that.
We just need to order, he had a statement, didn't he?
Yeah, he put it, it was in the meeting, we'd have to go back and find out what the specifics were.
Was that in, that was like in February too, right?
Was it this year?
Oh, wait, let me see if I can find it.
Chain link fence. This block, this whole thing, I blocked it. From some work we did on the property, so it would take like half 10 minutes, but I don't know about the installation.
February, what year was it? So-
This year, good evening, David Dempsey.
Yeah, the black chain.
Yeah.
You've got the
So I'll come back
video.
and go ahead when it comes.
Because I have, that I want to get rid of. You take the state.
Selena, it was 11/1/21.
Woo, really, that far back?
Yeah,
Was it for?
this was the first.
Didn't we do didn't we modify it?
I think we did, but
Then if we did, which I'm not saying we didn't, it wasn't sent by Dave, an updated one wasn't sent to us by Dave.
I can't even figure it out.
No, because it said no alcohol, and then we added something to that.
So
Yeah, this
no
one's-
dogs, no pets.
Yeah, no dogs allowed in the court, no hockey or rollerball in the court, no hanging on the rims or nets, no alcohol
Can we say our other,
in the basketball area, and be respectful.
Any other,
no smoking, no
Yeah.
alcohol?
I think smoking was definitely part of it.
Alcohol or smoking, or is there a third thing?
unless they consider vaping, I don't know. if
Of
that's it.
any, yeah, no alcohol.
Or maybe just tobacco products.
Or vaping.
Then someone's gonna
Yeah,
smoke something else
Well,
there.
that's why you
They'll
said
take the
both.
opening.
No
Well-
smoking,
No.
vaping, and then in parentheses put tobacco products?
Yeah.
Got it.
and are we, I hate to go into the nuances, are we saying this is in the basketball area, they can smoke on the other side of the fence?
Isn't there no
Yes.
smoking on the, main rules? Or is
I
there?
don't believe so.
Yeah, because people could be out in the
I
field,
mean, most people don't smoke to begin
Yeah.
with, so that's,
because they're around kids usually and stuff, that's why. But the basketball court usually has the potential to have, like, I went by yesterday, there was 5 or 6 adults on the court.
There are always
Playing.
people there playing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which is,
Yeah.
that's what we all wanted.
Yep, build it and they will come.
All right, I'll, send out this, I just feel like it's the spring and we need to,
Get it done. We already approved it, it's already been, I mean, any fines, whatever we need to pay for was already approved.
So you just need to get it ordered.
I think I might have found
The email?
the corrected one.
I can play the Jeopardy music if you want.
Hmm?
I can play the Jeopardy music if you want. Dun, 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 dun.
Because I have it saved here. Recreation basketball court rules for 12/13, so that must have been when we discussed
It was, yeah, it was around that time. I thought it was right before the New Year.
No pets, no alcohol or tobacco products. No hanging, yeah, so we have two very similar versions, so I'll send them both out, and we should just order. How many do we think we needed?
Wait a minute, you have two similar versions of what?
Sign,
Why
Just-
do you send it two out?
just to see which one, like, who likes which.
just pick one and, you know, the
Yeah.
more inclusive one.
Just
Well, like I said, do you have both
Pick
versions
the
right now?
one.
Read them both up, we'll approve it right now.
Yeah,
Because we already had done it, so I mean, technically, we already approved Dave's, the one
It's
he's
just
done.
pretty much that one line. We had said back in December, no alcohol or tobacco products, and then this time we wrote no alcohol, smoking, or vaping, quote, tobacco products in the basketball court area.
Use the new one because it does, as Mark was saying, it's a little more inclusive and it takes one more piece out of the equation.
and may I suggest, a line at the end saying for a more comprehensive set of rules, visit our website, and we have that on our website for now.
Yeah.
But at some point, we're gonna wanna make changes.
Yep.
So we can just add the changes there, and here's where the rules are. If you wanna look at other rules, but here's the big ones that you should know about.
That sounds a good idea.
For more comprehensive,
Rules and
For a full
regulations.
list of
Rules
rules and
and
Rules and
regulations.
regulations.
Visit our site. The basketball court at Rowley, at the Pine Grove School, just says basketball only.
And then the question was how many signs? I thought at one point we went from 2 to 4.
I think we're talking 2 or 4, because 2 had been on each entrance. But what we're gonna have, when the chain link goes up, the entrances will only be in the front.
Yep.
They'll not be in the back, because we're gonna close the entire back portion with the chain link, so I think we can almost get away with just the 2.
Yeah.
I would put one up at the front of the
We have an app, did you know that?
field house
Townofnewbury.org.
and one almost at the gate, just so there's plenty of signs.
Alright,
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean 4
it's
All right, let's-
short
let's-
money,
okay,
say,
all right,
there's a
let's
sign,
do it.
there's a sign, you can't read the signs.
Want the facts?
do we make a motion to approve the 4 signs that's been worded accordingly for,
I make a
Yeah.
motion to include 4 signs of what we've motioned so far.
Just put townofnewbury.org.
do I hear a
Do
second?
you want the best
Second.
match to the
Any discussion?
rules?
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's approved.
Should I say, please visit our website at,
The sign says no long hair.
/ recreation training, I think it is.
Please
Long
not-
hair be free.
Second, I'll take
Please
that.
don't apply.
I'm wondering if we.
That's where we're at, Dave, you should put it up.
Playing field and facility
I
permit
love that
policy.
song.
yeah. We'll just direct them to the recreation committee.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's on the website.
For a full list of rules and regulations, please visit our website at www.townofnewbury.org/recreation committee.
Done.
Who's gonna order the signs? Where do we put it?
Have James do it wherever he orders in town.
So you're saying, Dave, can you add that to
Add
your?
Actually,
it to your James list. Hey, I got my
I
Tracy list, so.
Yeah, I
I
would
sent one out already.
go through Tracy.
Go through Tracy?
Yeah, have
So it's
Tracy,
mine. Send me the verbiage.
have Tracy order them through the
You want to be
DPW.
on camera?
Just send an email.
I think Mark said.
Yeah, I know.
No, to
My
Celine.
list is growing.
No, I'm just saying to Celine, just send a copy of the thing, just send it to Tracy.
Say we approved the 4
Yeah, can
signs.
you order these signs, 4 signs, so they don't even have to add it to your list, just.
What
send
kind,
it.
what kind
This
of,
delegation
were you talking like metal
going on,
signs?
right?
We talking like metal or
Yeah.
like hard, I mean, metal signs, right?
Do the metal
Okay.
and fasteners, so.
If they, well,
The rec committee approve this, you know, please. Please and thank you.
I mean, that's what they do. The DPW does that, and they order signs and they'll know what to put up there. You know,
Yeah, James will know how to do it.
he doesn't like signs, but
He said that?
doesn't like signs. We had that discussion once.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about parking, and,
Yeah.
you know, he said that, you know, we could put up 1,000 signs, don't park here, and they
They'll
just,
still park.
they'll just still park, so that's why he was just going, and I totally understand it.
So, can she ask
We don't say
James to order
this is
these?
you.
Yeah.
Just ask her to.
My name wasn't on it, they didn't
She'll figure out
specify.
the best way to do it.
Do we know what size we want these signs to be?
2 by 3,
That's kind of big.
That's big.
I would say,
12.
12 by
16
24.
by
Have
10.
them, what I would do is I'd have them send it out and send you a proof.
Yep.
How this will look the best, however big it is, it needs to be.
Yeah, you don't want it
Clear.
too small, so people go, oh, couldn't read it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want something massive this big, I was just thinking,
Censored so that you walk by, it lights
It
up.
lights up.
It's
Yeah.
probably gonna have to be this
Twinkle
tall
lights
and
on.
this.
I was thinking, yeah, I was thinking like this by,
16
Yeah.
by 11.
Yeah,
16 by
We're just going to Jumbotron and this.
All right,
16
by 20,
inches by 11 or 20?
20.
Whatever you feel like doing. It's obviously gonna come down to the sign company. They'll have
The
a
company might say it's
specific-
too small, won't be
specific-
enough, we need it to be
Yeah.
bigger than,
Yeah, they'll have a
Okay.
specific sign, they'll have a font.
say
that will
16 by
fit on a
20
certain-
unless it needs to be
Yeah.
bigger. Enlarged for the, for type. I don't
They'll
know.
make a recommendation, this isn't their first time.
No.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if
That's
there's something we have to have legally regarding to the size of the print, so it's considered whatever.
James will know.
yeah,
Okay.
that's
James
why.
will know.
Okay.
Wow, we accomplished.
Hmm?
We
Check that
accomplished
out.
Something.
Doesn't that feel
No, we've
good?
done other things, and we're back onto the one project we're still working through, and we have 30 minutes?
So are you guys gonna just continue to work through the policy?
That's really the thing we gotta work through right now, we gotta keep plugging away at it.
Why didn't it say?
Uh-oh.
Don't we have lawyers for this?
We too would have to come out of our budget, I think.
Well, the policy's supposed to come up through you guys.
Well, this comes up through us, and then we have to send it to them, and they have to, like they did the last time, they had
It
they
does
red
go,
line it and
it
come
does
back.
go to town council, but
I
it
know,
goes
I know it does.
before.
Yep.
It didn't, oh no, because we're using, never mind.
So if you guys are gonna have the remainder of this be a working policy meeting, I think I might skedaddle. I don't
Start
understand.
working,
We
then
could
we,
say-
we leave you with one job,
What's that?
find replacements for us.
I know.
Replacement for us?
or whoever wants to step, I've already said, I said back in October that I was gonna be done. There's no way I can continue on, as much as I'd like to.
And
I
honestly,
certainly may help, but I can't share this again. I just don't have the time right now with everything else going on personally, so I apologize.
no, that's okay. I appreciate all that you've done. I mean, you guys picked up.
Well, we've all, I mean, the four of us have been here for 6 years, so.
Yeah. So if you know of any friends,
Do we want to keep them as friends?
I'm pointing fingers at anybody.
Well, I think I can say personally before we, are you all set? Okay. I can say personally, I didn't know either one of you two before all this started, and I can say
Yeah.
thank you very much for
Yeah.
your
Yeah, it's been
You already knew.
Wish you didn't know.
I roped him into the grocery store.
I couldn't believe that night, not together, not to say so. All right, we have 25 minutes. Do we want to continue this on, or?
Do you help them, Cindy, with the policy or no?
Not really.
Celine, did you, and I'm not,
She sent the link out.
Celine didn't.
Yeah, she did,
What?
after the last meeting, she sent the Google.
I believe Lucian did that for me.
Oh. Lucian did it on your computer.
Yes, I'm not gonna take any credit for that.
Maybe Lucian will want to, oh no, he's gonna go away to college, he can't. I was gonna say, maybe he wants to stay on the committee.
well,
on the
we
roll.
can task him, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to Lucian, but he would know people in school. And again, it doesn't have to be a Triton student, it could be any Newberry
Right,
high school student.
Yeah.
no, but I'm talking about, he's graduating, but maybe if he's gonna
He
stay
could,
in
he
school.
could then stay on as
He
a
could.
regular member because he's a
Because he's over
member.
18,
And he would be
Yeah.
on high school at that point.
and he has the knowledge, he's already been on the committee for a year. So looks
It's
good
just,
on
I think we
resume.
need,
Why did that not mail to her?
there's been a lot of great work, a lot of great ideas. I just think at this point, we need some fresh eyes and to take all the hard work this group's done and just bring it to that next level.
Energetic people. Because we
Yeah,
had
fresh
energy when we
eyes.
first came on.
I mean, the work that was done, so.
You guys
Remember?
see the
Remember
owners
when we first came on?
Yeah,
We were like,
a lot of energy, go.
go, go.
Look what you
Yeah,
got done.
Yeah, I've been getting grief
Town
from
administrator,
some member,
town
from a member for
Just administrative.
making them
Oh, no,
come to
administrative.
meetings. I say that tongue in cheek. So do we wanna try to push this, or do we wanna, I mean,
What's that?
You don't have to be.
I'm not one way or the other, I mean, I'd rather,
You mean for the
it's almost like, do we
policy?
dedicate another meeting in, let's say, 2 weeks just to this? Or do we use our main meeting, because I mean, if I can ask, what is the next things on the list that we really need to keep an eye on, other than the things that we're already doing, other than the policy work, so we could dedicate the next meeting just to policy?
I think pretty much just
Seniors who don't want to.
working on this policy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask the crew, the team, the committee, do we wanna spend the next 20 minutes on this, or do we wanna end it early, knowing a lot of us have had long days and other things going on? And, cause I think as soon as we get started, I think by the time we get set up, it's gonna be like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
Can I make a
And Lucian's
suggestion?
not here.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and our
Need my
IT
technical
genius,
support.
yes,
I
can't
did
get
bring up the
Lucian's,
document though.
Email, somebody could, I looked here, I don't have that was sent out,
Which one?
that was sent out at the end of last meeting.
It was to share the Google Doc.
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'll get- I'll-
I do not have an updated copy of the work that we did at the last meeting to work from, but you.
give me
came
1
to-
minute, I'm pretty sure I can find
Yeah,
it.
came from the, 'cause. But it would come to you as
A
a
link.
Google Doc.
Yeah, I have nothing, the
Any
last thing I
email?
have from Lucian.
No, it's from Celine.
It was some Celine. Oh,
Okay, 3-7, gotcha.
Got it?
My mistake. What I will do, I have some suggestions for changes. I can redline them.
okay.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I can redline, if it's already been formatted,
You want to redline it on the doc or redline it on a?
I'm just gonna do it on my piece
Yeah,
of paper
that
and
would
hit
be
it.
better.
And then we'll just, which is good, because at that point, then we don't have to unformat something. So if you come in saying this section, we'll literally just start at the top and work our way down through it.
Because I know you've done a lot already.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, I made my original rough
Yep.
suggestions, like it's not TYLS or.
There's a lot of
Your
writing on
private.
that paper.
Oh, this is the backside, did ya? I'd be willing to redline that on the document so that you don't have to put it in at the next meeting. We can look at it and either accept it, reject it, or do something else.
That sounds like an awesome idea, and I
Well,
really appreciate it, Mark.
I don't know if that's okay with Celine.
You're gonna redline it on a hard copy? Or on the document?
I was gonna do it on the document. If you sent me a copy of the document.
The one
I
you
would-
sent in the
Yeah.
Google Doc that we can,
Remember there was a lot of formatting things
That-
that we had to go back and, did you have Kathy look at that? But you were-
I could take
Right.
the link you have and it'll be V.2.
Yeah, just redline it in a way that we know what you made changes in.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
yeah.
going up there and say,
I'm not a
Changes.
Google Doc,
yeah,
Can you track
Oh.
changes in Google Docs? I think so.
yeah.
okay.
And then make some of the suggestions, and that way we're not recreating, people can look at it beforehand, create, accept, reject, whatever.
We're on the home stretch.
yeah.
We're kind of, we were
Yeah, we-
cranking along pretty well last time.
Mhm. So, that leads us to the last piece, then the question is the next meeting. So we have the annual town meeting on the 26th, so I'm hoping everybody's able to attend that. Yes, that's your plug already, Alicia.
Thank you.
April 26th?
Yes, it is a
26th
Tuesday, it is at Newbury Elementary,
Elementary School.
it's at 7 o'clock. Our next scheduled meeting would then have been May 2nd, Monday. Does that work?
Do you think you'll finish it then?
We certainly hope so. But
Wait, hold on.
I think we may need one more. I'm actually available both, so I can do it.
It's.
I can do the
either-
second or the ninth.
Your appointments are up in June. June 30th is the end of your term.
We know that.
I hope
We're
we
doing-
finish this before that.
We're certainly gonna
This will be
try.
done by the next meeting.
Okay.
And then
Okay,
we'll hopefully have
why
it
don't we take a
also.
minute to make a little bit of a discussion, since we're not doing the,
Okay,
but we have not discussed how much we're charging for,
the basketball court?
or the field house.
Basketball court, I thought we agreed on, what'd you say, 25? I think it was $25 an hour, and that was for the whole court. Oh, 25, 25 and 50, 25 for
Are you
local,
ma- you're
50 for,
writing that down?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
but no, I thought that was agreed upon like
Yeah.
3 or 4 meetings ago. The Davids were going at it, and it came down to, I think we were talking, is if we went too much or we went per court, per hoop, it didn't make a lot of sense. So it was like, and it was like the 20, were we doing now the 10 and 25 for, starting in September, or for the fall season? We were thinking we'd use 25 and 50, and you'd have the.
Because at the same time, while Mark is working on this, I'm gonna be working on the calendar website. So I've already inputted the updated field charges, because I'm gearing for the fall. So, okay, we're in agreement on that, and then what about the field house? Was there gonna be a fee for or is it incorporated in the rental usage of the,
I think the bathrooms were included. The actual facility, the main area, that, unless I am wrong, don't, figure that's not gonna happen. Yeah, I don't remember us discussing a number for that, unless we were gonna do the same thing.
In one of the documents, the recommendation, we didn't go into
Yeah.
detail as a group, but the recommendation was basically, because the other town entities don't charge for public space, now, I'm excluding the school, although the school does give it free at times, like the library, field house, for local residents to do something, that we wouldn't be charged. We can just deny people if they want to have a,
but they do charge because they have a custodial fee, correct?
the school does, but the library doesn't. When I've had people use the firehouse, which is not often, they didn't. I've known where, because the custodial staff was already there, that they have allowed people to use like the auditorium for a forum. It's, you know, it's not saying that they're gonna let anybody come in with custodial staff there, to have a pitch tournament, but if there is a valid reason for it. I do know that other entities around here don't charge, whether it's the Chinese restaurant, Route 1, you can use their back room for free. Institution for Savings, you can use their back room for free. So, I guess, who are we trying to attract and for what purpose? If it's just a nonprofit trying to meet, there's ample opportunities. I would like to have people use it,
Oh, I agree, that's the point we wanted it.
particularly the athletic groups that if Trident Youth Soccer wanted to have their board meeting there, that'd be great.
I think that the reason that we were thinking about charging for it was, I think it was sort of twofold. One was the commissary area, but then it was before we had the town paying for or helping us out with the cleaning of the bathroom. We had to, if we used that facility, we had to pay X amount of dollars to have it clean.
What
the
about
bathroom
the
clean.
heat though?
What's
So
that?
The Townsend bills are pretty sizable every month.
Can't we use some of that money to get solar panels up there?
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
That'd be a perfect location
Solar
for it.
No,
And
not
they-
a farm.
they-
We got
No, just put them on the
places
roof.
They go for about
Put 'em on
50
the roof.
grand and they would run all that energy back and.
Can't you get one of those solar companies to come and say, we wanna use your roof for, they used to come to my house all the time.
Yeah, that's sort of a scam. I can make a phone call.
It's
That'd
a
be great.
scam,
They're all
not
for
just a Scam.
I agree, Mark, I agree, it's almost like, if we were gonna do any kind of a charge, I wanted to make it nominal, just, it's like the group that
Yeah,
came
yeah.
in,
It's not a
when
money
Ryan
thing.
Kelly brought his group in for the wardrobe thing, it was $6 an hour, and he was like, I'm gonna be here for like 8-9 hours, he goes, I'll pay the $54, I go, that's cool. I mean, it was
Yeah,
something,
no,
so if we did if we did the 10 and 25, depending on the $10, as long as it's,
Accountable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if they're gonna make a mess in there, if you're gonna have to recoup the cost of cleaning it,
Yep.
if that need,
We know who they are.
that's right.
worst case, we can ask for a deposit, and as long as it comes back, we just hand it that way.
I
That would
agree.
fall under the other person that's, we're gonna have to
That's
help
gonna
out.
be kind of messy though.
Yeah, no,
like
and then it's a
deposits
question-
and returning.
Then someone has to go check and make sure.
Yeah.
Well, just the dealing it, because you need to deposit it, and then you have to give them money back. And
That's fine,
if you-
okay.
Yeah, that,
I was just making sure we had something to cover ourselves, because if someone goes in there and
Yeah.
we charge them $10 an hour for 5 hours and for $50 and they wreck the place, and then it's like, now what?
well, again, that'd be part of the agreement,
Yeah.
that you're responsible, just like with the players on the field.
Okay.
You're responsible for it, you're signing your name to it, we're gonna know who the person is.
That's cool, that's fine, All right.
So are we saying a nominal fee?
$10, $10 an hour,
Is it tiered?
no.
Doesn't
If I,
matter.
and correct, jump in, I'm just saying no. I think it's $10
Well, right now,
is,
you're free.
they're
because-
free,
Town department.
and they would be, because they would still, or I should say, in regards to a tier, we have to, well, we really should just keep it the same, keep it consistent then. Do the tier, same tier system we're using for the field,
Yes.
use it for that,
Yeah.
okay.
So 0 and 10.
10, and then 25 if it's for profit, as of the fall. Right now, it's 650.
Yeah, 25, that would be right, because someone
Yeah.
could say, I wanna use that facility to do whatever, and they'll be making money off it, so. yeah.
So the other thing I added to the calendar, because I had to go through and add each field, and then I added the field house, and then I added the basketball court, and then I added special events,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just said, contact the recreation committee for pricing.
Okay. I mean, it gives them an idea what they're looking there, but if it's a special event that's not listed. then
Going
we'll jump
back
to it.
to.
So when you say contact the recreation committee, where does that go?
Michael,
It goes to your personal email?
No, it goes to the town usually, and then Tracy or somebody sends it to me at that point.
Okay, so there is because I'm thinking you might need to have a recreation at Town of Newbury email address.
All for it.
and that was why we would
We
need
do.
somebody to man it,
But
Yeah,
you have one already,
There is one.
okay.
yeah, you
And
got all.
that's the one that you want her to man?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh,
I have a
I-
group that says
I-
Newbie
I-
Rec Committee that I have already included, but it's my own one that I.
No, when I filled out that application, there was an actual email. I don't know where it goes, but there was an email address.
Somebody will forward.
We also don't have a designated phone number,
You can get that too.
but I don't
See,
want to pick up the
this is
phone.
where having a staff person, even if we use the other funds for it to get us through or beginning next year, if there's a phone call, it doesn't get bounced around here, that it goes to one person and they, whomever it may be, gets it to the appropriate person here.
Right.
And then instead of having right now, there's a cumbersome method to email us that disguises our personal email. And then we have to log on, which has been hacked, because I keep getting this Russian group wanting to have me talk to them.
I'm
Do it.
sorry.
No pain in mind, don't get about, no pain in mind, yeah. Russian
Three
system
songs
right
gonna
now.
get it.
But if we had, recreation committee at
Sounds good.
Town of Newbury, then everybody could send it there, there's a
Right.
But
better,
there is, we just don't know where. There is that email
And
address.
somebody is already manning it and forwarding
No,
emails
I
out?
found it on the website and I put it in the
Sure, Matt.
application.
Why don't we send a message to it? Let's see who answers.
reward.
If it goes to mine, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be all over somebody.
We've been trying to get in touch with you about your car warranty.
Oh, God.
I can ask you about that.
Or solar, or whatever.
Yeah, I get them all. I'm on the old person list, so I get like Medicaid, Medicare.
Yeah, I hate the car one. It's like, I
What's
start
the
talking
email
to
address?
him.
Oh.
But I don't have this car anymore. So how does this work? Click.
Thinking about diabetes.
What is it? I didn't hear you. Did you say that again? And they said, no, it starts with Scott. I'm not sure. Can you run that by me again? I didn't hear you.
I don't know which one was over there, though.
Just keep it going.
I hope it's delicious.
Waste my time. Waste my time.
I don't know where it went. I'll have to- I know there was an email address I put in that application.
So, well, Selena's doing that. Let me confirm. For the basketball courts, it's the tiered system 25
And
It's
then,
50.
and 50.
Yep.
The field house is 10 and 0, 10, and 25.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, here, Recreation Committee at townofnewbury.org. I don't know where I found it. but-
Can you copy and paste it into an email real quick and just send it out and see where it goes? Just say a test. Please let me know when you got it. I think it'd be easier, because I try to type all that and I know I'm gonna fat figure something. If I had my laptop, I would've just done it, it'd be easier.
And I have it on here to ask Matt.
We'll
So,
send it to your email.
Michael,
I got enough.
Yes,
just to confirm most things, Susan, the fields are open. We're gonna work on the bathrooms, so nobody needs to bring in.
no, yeah, because that was one of the things that TYS had asked about porta potties, so I will be emailing Tracy right after this, or the next day.
Regarding the porta potties?
Yeah, to make sure we get the they get the bathrooms open and the gates open.
Okay, but do you want me to write to Lacrosse,
Please.
Rush, and
TYS.
TYS, say the fields are open?
Yep.
Remind them of the understanding about the use of it,
Yep,
that
That would be
it's
wonderful.
incumbent on them. May I suggest that if they have a problem with the condition of the fields, that they don't practice on it?
well, it's been standard, but I mean, the same idea, I agree, I don't chuckle.
The reason it was brought to my attention, an administrator in another town had said somebody had used a field, claimed the fields were destroyed when they got there. But there was, another group had used it, trashed it, and then left and said it was there that way. So,
I mean, I know that Triton Youth Lacrosse was trying to get on, like, the last week of
yeah,
they were asking if they get on the field before the end of March. Because they're saying, it looks good, can we get on the field early? And I'm like,
There was-
I'm gonna talk about it, but it's gonna be on your application.
There was a group,
This weekend would have been available.
no, it was last week, there was a group on there practicing.
No one was supposed to be on the field until the first, no one had put on the calendar, the
It-
schedule.
all right, I will write a letter and.
There was a group
CC.
on there practicing.
Okay.
Yep, and it was a professional group, it was not a bunch of kids just throwing the ball around. It was
Drills and stuff.
coaches and, yeah. And I was like, I'm kind of tired, and I'm not gonna even,
Yeah, I was gonna say, if it wasn't too late, I would've said, call me or text me. And
yeah, no, I was
I
like,
go,
at
excuse me, I said, what are you doing here?
a certain
I
point,
think
you're
that's
kinda
just
like,
gonna happen. You don't
If
wanna
it's a
see
local,
that.
if it's local family doing something like that, or even the school, I wouldn't have cared. But if I've got one of our vendors that are out there early, a week early, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna send you a bill for the additional.
they were, I just don't know who they were.
Yeah, that's the thing. All right, anything else? One, thank you all. I know this is kinda crazy, but, so for the next meeting, we all have our to-dos or whatever. The next meeting is really gonna be policy fieldhouse work.
Yep.
You certainly can decide if you wanna stay or not, you don't have to.
You had some good input.
You
though.
did, we love to have you, we appreciate your input.
What is that?
I'm very
Staring.
appreciative of what you did. I am.
Did you decide what date you're gonna do,
May
the
2nd.
second or?
So it's gonna be May
May
2nd.
2nd.
May 2nd, 6 to 7:30. Is that okay with everybody? Mark?
Yes,
Okay.
what time was it again?
May 2nd.
May 2nd, 6 to 7:30.
Right before Cinco de Mayo, we're doing some margaritas.
Is that legal?
Not for something this, I don't think we can do it.
If we had it
Well,
at
if you
the,
could tell us, we could
Date
bring,
your
if we
type
could,
of snacks.
God, if we could bring an alcohol, it'd be a whole different ballgame, it'd be a real interesting meeting.
You would have a whole lot more board members.
board.
Hold it, all right, hold it, before we go any farther. So the next meeting is May 2nd, from 6 to 7:30. Do I hear a motion to adjourn at
I make a motion to adjourn.
7:23?
7:23.
I
All
second the
in-
motion.
Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's ended, thank you all.